What if you could turn your creativity into cash right from your home, your office, or even your garage? And what if you could turn that creativity into cash in a way where you don't have to worry about AI coming in, replicating what you do, and running you out of business? That would sound pretty great, right? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about in this video. We're going to talk about one really cool way that you could turn your creativity into cash in a way where you don't have to worry about people doing the exact same thing, being lazy with AI, making it extra tough for you. And it has to do with a piece of equipment that can kind of turn your home into a factory for producing really cool things. And I think it is so cool that in 2025, we live in an era where you can buy this stuff that makes that possible, whereas in the past you'd need to literally find a factory in China. And that is what is possible with this baby right here. This is the WeCreat Vision Pro, and this desktop sized laser engraver will literally turn your desk, like it has mine, into a production facility where you can prototype, create, and make products that you can sell for a ton of money online. Why am I talking about a laser engraver, you might ask? Well, let's face it, these days, jobs are pretty scarce. Freelancing has gotten harder for many people in fields that have been disrupted by AI. And I really think that we live in a time where people are starting to value handcrafted, human-made, artisan-style, DIY cool stuff, like Etsy type stuff that you can't just get from mass-produced AI. I think that's where we're at right now. I think as AI automation takes over, I read somewhere that humans will evolve into doing more to entertain themselves. And I think with something like this WeCreat, you're able to create creative wares that kind of fill that void. Humans entertaining humans with cool products. So first of all, for those of you who are brand new to laser engravers, here's what makes this machine, the WeCreat Vision Pro, such a compelling offering for people looking to get into doing some sort of a side hustle where they're creating stuff with a laser. The first is, while this thing is literally just taking up 2.5 feet by 2.5 feet on my desk, you can actually create pretty huge things with it, like long signage, house numbers, wedding signs, whole bunch of different stuff. This thing actually has a conveyor belt that can feed, I think it's 92 inch or 120 inch pieces of wood. I'll put that on the screen. But it can feed long pieces of wood through it and just cut its way as the wood is being pushed through, which is really cool, which opens up a lot of different projects that you can do with something like this, because you can work on such large pieces of wood or other materials like acrylic or leather or whatever. The other thing that's awesome about this is, and again, if you don't know much about lasers, it's 45 watts, which is pretty high powered for this type of a laser, which is a diode laser. But despite it being so powerful, it's actually super precise. And I've played around with engraving really detailed images on things like wood and acrylic, and it looks awesome despite it being powerful, because typically the more higher power a diode laser was in the past, the larger the spot size would be, which basically means it's harder to do fine detail. Not with this thing, it's actually super detailed, and I'll show you some examples on the screen. It's a diode laser, so you don't have to just make wooden wares. You can do vinyl, you can do acrylic, you can etch metal. There's a ton of stuff you can do. And I actually made, I don't have it with me, but a keychain for me and my girlfriend with a picture of us on it. And it looks awesome. Metal business cards. You can do a ton of stuff on this thing. And probably the best part, because before I got into using laser engravers, was the fact that it comes with really easy to use software. You don't have to do a lot of tinkering. You put in whatever you want to cut or engrave, set the settings, and away it goes. It's super easy to use, and it's a great machine. And really, one really cool part of something like this is because it's desktop size. I'm in the corner of my basement, just sitting on the edge of my computer desk. It's desktop size, but also kind of merges pro level performance. You really have a lot of runway for what you can do. Not only can you prototype products on this thing, but once you get an Etsy store up and running, or if you want to do it on Shopify, this thing can actually pump out a ton of stuff relatively efficiently, so you could be fulfilling orders as they come in, and that's pretty cool. Gone are the days of going onto sites like AliExpress or DHgate or Google and finding a factory in China with a 500 minimum order quantity. you can kind of create your own factory here with this. And material's super cheap. Like I use 12 by 12 inch pieces of basswood for a lot of the crafty type stuff I make. They're like $2 a sheet. That's awesome. Okay, now before I go into how you can make money with this thing, I do have to thank WeCreat. While they're not paying me to make this video, they did send me this machine for free. And I'm going to give my honest opinion on it. You know, obviously, take that as you will, but I just needed to let you know in good conscience that I did get this for free because I actually sought them out because I thought it was such a cool machine. It would make such a great video for you guys. So now let's talk about the fun part. Some of the ways that you can turn this machine into a money-making machine, right? So with a little bit of creativity and knowing where to sell your services and to who, I found this to be really something that can produce products that people are very interested in. Over the last, year or so that I've been experimenting with laser engravers, people who find out you're doing custom stuff that's customized, maybe with their name or their boyfriend's name or their wife's or girlfriend's names, they're really interested in that type of stuff. And I've gotten a lot of orders or even just people asking me, hey, can you do X, Y, and Z? Like I haven't really seen stuff like this. People are interested and they actually pay quite a bit of money for stuff. The whole customization aspect really increases the perception of value in the mind of whoever you're selling this stuff to. Okay, so the first thing, I kind of just mentioned it, is customizing stuff and selling it on sites like Etsy. If you go over to Etsy, you'll notice that a ton of the top selling products on Etsy are actually products created with a laser engraver just like this WeCreat. From simple stuff like cutting boards or really cool wooden wallets or leather wallets, to very specialized niche things like anything wedding related, baby related, baptism related, birthday related. There are a ton of products that people buy all the time. Like my nephew just turned 1 or 1.5, and every month of his life, my sister buys a laser cut number out of wood to take a picture with him, and she pays like $20 every time for a piece of wood that probably costs 50 cents and took someone 10 minutes to cut on a laser engraver. So things like that sell really well on sites like Etsy. Another really cool thing you can do is targeting local businesses. So near my house, there's like a farmer's market every week. And one of the vendors there was like a coffee truck that they built out of like a trailer, like a live-in trailer. They converted it to a coffee truck, and they were selling as like a upsell to their coffee and cookies, little coasters that they had cut out in the shape of their business. It was like a bulldog was like their logo. And they had these cool coasters that they were selling, a pack of 4 coasters that were laser cut and laser engraved for $15. I thought that was pretty awesome. So if you can see businesses in your area where you're like, hey, I can make something cool for them. Maybe it's a custom sign, maybe it's coasters, maybe it's laser engraved, you can even engrave food. Like you can like put a logo on like a piece of food with this thing. There's a ton of different options. You can reach out to them and say, hey, I do laser cutting and engraving. I'd love to make something customizable for your business. You offer them a free trial, like you make them something for free. If they like it, they might put in a mass order with you. I touched upon this in the first one when it comes to Etsy, but wedding and wedding decor is a category of its own. Every wedding you go to, you're going to see signs or, large signs that have balloons attached to them, table numbers, little knife and fork holders or something that they, stick. I don't even know how to describe it. They attach a ribbon to it and they tie it around like the fork, knife, and napkin. Tons of stuff that I'm seeing at weddings, specifically using acrylic, either white or black, depending on the wedding's theme, or a combination of both, which you can do on this thing, or light colored woods that they either paint or leave natural looking. The wedding industry is huge, and I think that's a really interesting niche to go after, because knowing a lot of people who've been married or have gotten married, when you're going through the process of planning a wedding with your wife, money doesn't seem to be an issue about anything. I mean, it is, but people get what they want and they want it to be their special day. Targeting the wedding industry is super lucrative, and a machine like this, you could cover so many different products. Another one that I started making a video about actually has to do with game and hobby products. I'm just going to grab something. So this is a custom Magic the Gathering deck box I made, and this is Lord of the Rings themed, right? So I got a little piece of leather holding it. So this is for commander decks, and I engraved Lord of the Rings stuff on each side, which I thought looked really cool. Like that's Mount Doom, and it's for Magic the Gathering players to hold their cards, right? Here's another one I did that's a little bit better looking. So this one is kind of plain white on the sides. This one slides up. And on the front, I did like an image that's Sauron with an overlay of like skulls and vines, which look really cool. So what inspired me for this is a friend of mine and I have actually, since COVID, learned how to play Magic the Gathering. And having gone to card shops, guys are paying like 40, 50, 60 bucks for custom boxes. And this box here that I just showed you, this cost me, I think this was 2 pieces of basswood plywood, $4 to make, and then I just painted on a really light coat of shellac to make it shine a little bit. It took me literally the cutting, engraving, and assembly a total of an hour, but I wasn't working on it that hour. The machine was. I was designing my next project on my computer. So custom things for hobbies, right? If you're thinking like things like Warhammer or Dungeons and Dragons, you can make decor or buildings for the actual tabletop where people are playing on out of really cheap material. But the cool thing with this is you could take custom requests, right? People tell you, hey, I want a deck box that's this themed, or hey, I want a building for my Dungeons and Dragons or Warhammer tabletop RPG that looks like this. Can you make something like that? You can say yes and kind of set your price because they're coming to you to make something custom. I think that's pretty cool. Another really cool niche that might be a little bit more difficult to go after but has really a lot of lucrative runway is corporate gifting. If you reach out to companies that want to make custom products that they can use to send to their customers that have like their logo on it, you can make a ton of stuff. Like I saw some guys on YouTube engraving wooden pens with this thing. So you can make a little jig, stack up like 10 or 15 pens and put your logo in it. And then you're sending your customer this really cool custom item. Like who uses a wooden pen, especially with a cool logo on it? Like it's so cool. And if you could take down one company who does an order of 50 or 100 pens and they really like it, they're going to think of you the next time they want some sort of really cool standout-ish type of gift for their customers. And the last and most general with this is just general engraving. So, you know, my girlfriend loves those like travel mugs like Yetis or the Stanleys. You can throw one in here. It comes with a rotating attachment. You put the logo or the image or whatever you want, the words, into the software, plug in the mug or the cup, and it rotates it and engraves around the bottle or the mug. Whether it's metal or wood or acrylic or plastic, you can do that type of stuff, which is really, really cool. So that's some of the different niches you can target. But I really want to stress is, you know, how scalable something like this is. So like when we're thinking about margins, right? Like I see people selling very generic bamboo style or plain whatever maple wood style cutting boards that probably cost $10 to buy the blank cutting board for $40 or $50 at farmers markets or on Etsy. That's like a 5x profit. But using myself as an example, I actually have a walnut cutting board. Upstairs, it's like a live edge walnut cutting board that I got as a gift. It says my name on it, but other than that, it's just a piece of walnut. Now, walnut's expensive, probably costs maybe 15 or 20 bucks, maybe less, maybe 15, 20, 15, 20 bucks for the wood itself. But the person who bought me this board, because it's like 2 feet, it's like a pretty decent sized cutting board, they paid almost $200 for that. So it just has my name engraved on it with a laser. That probably took 10 minutes to do, and then they like sanded down and cleaned up the wood. But that is a massive profit. So when you're thinking about how you can scale a business with this thing, you don't even really need to do a massive volume of things, because the products you're able to turn out are, you know, high quality handcrafted type products. They actually will sell for more than what just a plain old wooden cutting board would sell for, as in this example, right? So you can use this to scale a business where you're developing and thinking of new and cool products that are unique and handmade and bespoke and people really feel special about, that you can start upping your prices versus necessarily upping your volume. I mean, you can do that too because you can adjust the speed and power settings in this thing, but it really opens the door to what type of business you want to run and how you want to scale it. Like, you don't have to be thinking high volume, low margins. You could be thinking the opposite, low volume, high margins, depending on what you make, which is pretty cool and will help you differentiate, right? Earlier in this video, I talked about AI. Doing custom stuff with something like this will really help you stand out and build a product that people will pay for. So yeah, do I think this thing is cool? Yeah, of course I do. I sought it out. I reached out to them. I said, hey, I want to use one of these things. I think it's amazing. Yeah, I think it's cool. But I don't just think it's cool because it can make cool products. I really do think things like this create cool opportunities for people. I have a couple friends, as an example, their wives, they had kids. They were busy. They couldn't work as much. They pick up devices like this, and now they're able to, while in the comfort of their own home, create an actual business that gives them an opportunity, both as a creative outlet and a way of making money, just by buying a device that you can run with minimal setup and next to no technical know-how. I think that's the coolest part about this, right? Like I mentioned AI, we live in a time where people have to transition from what's the easiest way to make money online and the simplest thing with the least effort to things like this, where it's like, how can I create something that's high value that people actually want that I can do without having to be an engineer or a designer, right? And things like this WeCreat do exactly that. They open the door to opportunities by creating and selling cool products. Highly recommend. I think it's a pretty cool device. There's a link in the description. And yeah, leave a comment. Like, what do you think you might want to try making with something like this? If you want me to maybe do a little prototype and create a video to do a proof of concept for you, explaining like how much time it took, how much it costed to make a particular product, and you know what I think the feasibility is, let me know and I'd be happy to try stuff like that out. Anyways, cheers guys. Thanks for watching.